So Mexico is burning, but this time the flames aren't coming from cartel violence or election chaos. They're coming from everyday citizens fed up with foreigners, and they're marching through the streets of Mexico City screaming, "Gringos, go home." Storefronts have been smashed, walls tagged with death threats, Americans hunted down by angry locals who say they've had enough. And the biggest irony? This is the same country that's been flooding our southern border every day with millions demanding entry. Now suddenly they want their own borders enforced? Wait till you hear what they did next. We've seen this kind of rage before, except it's usually pointed at us here inside the United States. But this story flips the narrative. If Americans aren't welcome in Mexico, well, millions of Mexicans claim sanctuary here. What exactly are we dealing with? We're going to unpack the footage, the protests, the anti-American chants, and the full hypocrisy unfolding just miles south of the U.S. border. And you guys are going to want to stick around because this protest is exposing everything the open borders crowd does not want you to see. So my name is Tom. I'm with the Daily Beltway. I'm also publisher of the Illinois Review and a White House correspondent for the Next News Network. So on July 4th, while Americans were celebrating freedom, Mexico City lit up with angry mobs demanding foreigners leave the country. The irony? It's thick. Protesters targeted Americans, Europeans, and digital nomads living in Condesa and Roma, two once local neighborhoods transformed by remote workers and rising prices. Let's go ahead and check out the footage here of these protesters going a little bit crazy. Let's see. That's a good way to start. It's amazing these guys are always destroying the things that are helping keep their cities better. Like Nike stores, shoe stores.
Estamos luchando contra la gentrificación. La gentrificación es este proceso por el cual las personas originarias de los barrios se ven desplazadas por gente con mayor poder adquisitivo. Es decir, gente que viene de otros países, en su mayoría extranjeros, a querer imponer su cultura, sus precios y desplazar a los mexicanos.
He's a psychology student, but he's looking like a joker.
Los nativos de estas tierras.
Vengo porque la gentrificación solo es un paso más a la colonización, a los despojos y a que exploten nuestros recursos.
Sounds like these people went through a liberal or arts degree here in the United States.
Es con la gente, pero ya falta poco para que cuando se les acabe el petróleo, el agua, el litio en otro país, vengan y nos saquen.
I find it amazing. These people are, yeah. So, peaceful tourists were caught in the middle. Coffee shops shattered. Gringos go home sprayed on walls like it's the 1970s again. And that's not even the worst things that they were saying. I can't say some of it, otherwise YouTube will ban the videos. So tell me in the comments, should this be a bigger story? Would you accept this happening in your hometown? I know I kind of would if it was taken over by foreigners, I guess, maybe. We'll see. So, according to the Associated Press, locals say gentrification is pricing them out. A student told reporters that foreigners impose their culture, their prices, and displace Americans. And displace Mexicans, my apologies. Another protester said this is just one more step toward colonization. Now let's pause and think about that. Americans bringing laptops and cash to local neighborhoods is colonization, but Mexican nationals crossing the U.S. border by the thousands previously every single day, that's humanitarian migration. Except we're bringing money to their neighborhoods and jobs and resources, and things are getting better, but the neighborhoods they're coming to are not, in the most case. And this is where everything changes, because while Mexico rages against foreign influence, over 2.5 million migrants crossed into the U.S. last year under Joe Biden. Many of them were from Mexico. They were fleeing crime, corruption, and yes, economic despair. So they did have some legitimacy to that. That doesn't mean you break our laws. So we're told America has a moral obligation to take them in. But Mexico feels zero shame about telling Americans to get out. And that's the definition of a double standard. So the neighborhoods in question, Roma and Condesa, used to be affordable, local, culturally rich. Now they're filled with tech workers, co-working spaces, and upscale brunch joints. That's definitely not my crowd, but that's not the neighborhood going down. The prices have gone up, but the violence against foreigners? That's not activism, that's xenophobic rage. Mexico's President Claudia Sheinbaum urged calm. She said gentrification should be solved through policy, not violence. And she was also the same one that told Mexicans in America to stand up and fight against the Trump administration, so double standard again. And so far, there's no plan to stop it, just anger spilling into the streets. And while Mexico fights to preserve its culture from foreigners, what is America doing? We're letting our culture be erased. No border, no assimilation, and no questions asked, especially from the left, as long as they get their congressional seats. And it's no surprise that globalism failed. Locals everywhere are waking up to what happens when identity gets replaced by outside influence. But let's be crystal clear. The violence in Mexico, it's a natural consequence of ignoring borders for too long. If they don't want gringos flooding in, then why is our border still open to them? So if you guys got value from this news update, tap subscribe. My opinion is next. Please like, share, comment, and help keep this channel alive. We're still growing. Everything you guys do really, really helps a lot. And here's what matters. Every nation has a right to protect its culture, its economy, and its people. But that right applies to the United States just as much as Mexico. We're told by the open borders crowd that it's racist to question immigration here. But in Mexico, citizens demand Americans leave. In the world, they shrug. And why is that? Because the left doesn't believe in borders when it's our republic under threat. Say that again. They don't care when it's us. They'll scream xenophobia in Texas and then justify graffiti that says kill a gringo in Mexican City. It's not compassion, that's hypocrisy. We need policies that put American families first. Just like Mexicans want policies to protect their neighborhoods. And that's fair. And fair is fair. But it starts with recognizing the truth. You can't demand entry into somebody else's house while kicking guests out of your own. That's what we're watching now. President Trump was right. Every nation must control its borders or it won't be a nation for long. What we're seeing in Mexico is absolute proof of that. And let's get serious about immigration, serious about sovereignty, and never let our republic be run by double standards again. And we're seeing a whole hell of a lot of that still. It's disgusting. So again, my name is Tom. I'm with the Daily Beltway. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America, guys. Have a great one.